adapt when it comes to Icebox if they're going to be playing it at the professional level. So I enjoy watching it. I am not that good at playing the game on any map, so I guess that's not really my problem.
Well, that's true. I mean, we're only here to scream and shout and let it all out, but for now, we're starting off, and the usual kind of pistol round you would see from Redgar right here would be the kind of wall he's placing where he's splitting down the B side. There it comes. And now the question is, what is the answer here from FPX by that?
Yeah, a lot of teams on this map in particular have the same execution. You put the nice little ice wall down, and then you realize that FPX don't have a save. So they're going to play things very different to what you'll see the majority of teams. Look to try and take some extra control. Of course, we know for a fact at the moment that even touching that screen takes away 50 of your health temporarily. So there's always going to be risks behind the plays that they're going to be making. But from Gambit on the attacking side, I'm still expecting somewhat of the norm in terms of their execution. Now, they are going to try and potentially split this one into mid, but Xiao, using the drone, is going to get them that information already.
Oh, Angel dying in the process. As they go over two, it's a matter of time, yeah, until the toxic goes away. Chronicle and Co don't have too much time left. It's down to 45 seconds. Defo finds Sippin in the process, and this is so crucial because he's usually that kind of fragging component. He's the one that devours players for breakfast. Shadow, though, comes close right here, sees the first, tacks him out, but Shadows has to reply, and Chronicle comes in as well. This brings it only down to Xiao, and I have major doubts that this is going to work, Tom.
It'd be one hell of a clutch. It was mentioned in the video just moments ago that this is what this man does, but to ask him to win a 1 versus 4 in the first round of the tournament, it might be a little bit much to ask. So Gambit, they get off to a killer start, and as said, like, there have been lots of teams singing their praises. I think there was a quote from Rubino that it was like, if they even bring 80% of the things they bring in prac, they might win this event. Like, it really is a lot of teams within Europe who have been practicing against them while obviously facing it off against the European teams in the earlier stages, have said that this is one of the teams that you have to fear. And even just in the pistol, like, they take a lot of early control, they split through to make it almost impossible for the remaining players on B to hold on to their angles, and they just like to make things awkward, trying their best to get up in the faces of their opponents very early on. And you can even see they're looking to try and garner as much control as possible, throwing down the deep poison orb just to make sure that, okay, we can take this space without you really knowing anything. They're actually going to go through it. Shadow didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, this is something that you would sometimes expect, but you have to say, when you go through this smoke, when Viper's putting up her toxic, it's really horrible. That's where you would expect, nah, you don't do this, you take so much damage. But at the end of the day, they take the wave through middle and open it up with ease. Gambit with a quite big man advantage. Demasic the only one to turn it around right here, as he could start with a frag on Defo. I doubt this is going to work that easily. And there you go.
I do wonder if they're going to try and make a play this round to get some sort of ult orb, because Defo does have himself a rifle, but he's only one away from getting the Blade Storm. So an opportunity for him to potentially switch things up to an SMG, give that extra gun over to another member of the squad. But you could already see just like the different ideas that are there for Gambit. Deep control into mid. I think a position on the map that a lot of teams significantly underutilize. Like, you're going to see like B-site executions in like 8 rounds out of 10 for a lot of teams. We've got our little screen, we'll put it down, we'll try and take some control. Gambit have already shown more than some teams do in 2 rounds.
You have to roast them, don't you, Tom? But, I mean, that's what we all love.
It's a compliment with some shade.
True, but you have to make those from time to time. As the shots with the Spectre, you gotta make those from time to time as well. And so it's once more control they have gained. A perfect cross they have done right here with the toxic screen. This doesn't change the matter of fact that spikes down. Demasic has a reply on Redgar. And it's a matter of time until this wall falls. Here it collapses. Tasmanian Tiger won't get a thing. And so they will play it pretty much in time and frags. Chronicle finds Angel, and that means Viper has no further use in this. There's a single flash that could come out of Sky. Shadow is not going to use it for now, as Demasic is trying to find frags, but he's been put to the grave. And that leaves Shadow on his own. Not a single chance. The attack side of Gambit so far seems without the slightest error.
Yeah, a much faster round from them as well. I think maybe catching some of the players off guard from FPX. I think it's some of the stuff that they've said in, like, even in the interviews that they feel like a lot of teams show an awful lot of respect to FPX, and I'm sure outside the server they're going to sing the praises of Angel and players like that from within the CIS who they respect in that manner, but within this server they are more than happy to go for those pace changes. Now this round, it's not going to be ideal for FPX. They don't have the finances to invest, and it is early doors. I say it's something I say quite regularly, in fact. I think a lot of teams have proven themselves on the attack side of this map, but it's holding things down on the defense. In fact, a lot of teams have even opted to just go for the Reyna on A site and almost just try and frag out to deny any of that positioning. So we'll see. We'll wait and see how Gambit are going to do on the other side, but for now, they're off to a solid start.
They are very much. There's not much Shadow can do. I couldn't imagine that that's going to work in any matter. That's a nice wall, though, coming in here from Angel, really countering them. But it just only takes a moment. And this is very nice to see that they instantly rotate, because when you have this kind of ability in the form of Angel there, you're not going to have a plan that easily. Double cage coming in, that's clearing middle, and now the route is set. GPS is telling them we're going to the A site.
On the other side, Xiao has found information, however. The timing of the drone couldn't be much better. The problem is his teammates are very far away, so he's not going to play too aggressively here. Just try and stop them taking full map control. Again, this is only pistols left in this round, so any damage, any ult orbs gained would be great. And Xiao, there you go, an extra one at least.
Very much indeed. At that point, Sippin got himself at least a slight advantage, the bonus he needs to make such a round work, as though I have my doubts that this is going to slip out of the hands of Gambit. They still have all the abilities, still all the possibilities, and there's a tiny edge, but Xiao keeps on sticking. This man is not stopping. The defuse has not been interrupted at all, and FPX, they get the first this way. 3 players remain alive, full utility on them. There was even the ult of Red Guard that could have been used, but FPX says, well, thank you for that one. We'll take it. Look at it.
I honestly don't understand how they've let that happen. Like, it didn't seem like they had any post-plant utility available to deny it, but also just the case of where you planted it. Like, maybe moving it over a little bit, maybe it was slightly off for where they normally put it, but the fact that he's able to defuse it without the vision of Gambit, that is a massive mistake. We've spoken about how these last few rounds have been almost flawless, and up until this moment it was.
And a quick look on the ults tells us, Tom, that there's a lot to hold up Gambit from stopping the streak. We got the lockdown ready. Hunter's Fury also to deny you either planting or trying to stop the diffuser. But again, Deja Vu, same route it is. The A site they seem to go for. Defo's holding the angle once anyone tries to swing a little too wide. Talking about it, here he starts. Steam is 6 eliminated. That is the Killjoy lockdown gone.
Thrown in the Seekers. This definitely makes things a bit more awkward for the players fighting, and the trades coming back thick and fast. They've also got rid of Redguard, so again, post-plant utility is going to be at a minimum. In fact, they really don't have anything to try and deny this in the latter stages of the round. They do have Defo, who's going to pop himself the Blade Storm, just expecting the pressure to come in, but again, they're just going to start tapping this defuse, and they're going to throw a smoke onto it. Angel's been killed off, and they've got it halfway. Xiao's still with an opportunity to bring this round back, to trying to bait them into the open as the peek comes through. He nails one,
so good.
But he can't quite find the second player. The peek from Nats will just about close out the round, but it was damn close again for Gambit in the afterplant.
Oh, it's not only damn close, it is damn costly for them. I mean, they got a very thick wallet. There is a lot of dollar bills in that, but it doesn't change the matter of fact that you really want to keep your economy going there on and on and on, because otherwise, once your opponents still, demolish you to some degree, you win the rounds, at one point you will be broke, and this could become a problem in the long run. For now, it works fine. The man who are pretty much poor right now are FPX. A quick look on their side tells us the Sheriff and the Marshal. It's the Wild West over here.
I love watching Defo go for like pure headshot angle fights with an operator. Like, it's a gun that will kill you with a shot to the chest, but this man's playing on hard mode, trying to fight off against Shadow in mid, and You can see just how patient they are against any aggression. They know the buy that they're up against. They've got a player sat back towards spawn, and in the meantime, taking some closer angle battles. Okay, see you later, Shadow. Just headshot straight through the wall. Now they're even going to get the remaining info of where these players are. It actually tells them that A site's completely open, so straight away, Chronicle's going to start that move.
Putting the throttle down. A side it is going to be. As the drone from Chronicle, that little owl is going to tell him it's literally all free. No one's just around. And again, the retake ability at that point in time is way too good. That's a nice start from Xiao. Nearly gets snapped, but he's still not eliminated. And the scoreboard's telling us Sippin's on a double. That retake, it seemed very distant and very far away. But it's Gambit, who pretty much have somewhat of an issue on their hand right now. 4 HP on Nats, just the shoulder that's going to be seen. Demus can't reply in time, and Redguard just waits. Is still eliminated. Sippin is on 1 point of health. That's the ult for you. It's still not working according to plan, as still Sippin is on it. 4K he got. He won stat ace. He definitely tries to make that one work. Hofstad is spotted, but does he get Chronicle is the question. Man would have the ult, but time's running. Time is running, and it's not working at all. He's gonna stick it, but here's the reply. But god damn it, how close it was.
Yeah, I made this point when we watched him play Icebox previously. I don't want to see Zipan play any other agent ever again. Like, it is unbelievable what he is able to achieve, but this is just raw aim. Like, sure, getting a little bit of extra health along the way is always going to be great, but dear lord, does he hit some ridiculous shots. Again, things are getting costly. He's managed to earn his Empress, but that doesn't change the fact that the rounds are still going the way of Gambit, even if they are incredibly costly.
You gotta say somewhat props to Xiao at that point, that he was, props to Chronicle pretty much keeping his cool at that point. You know, he could have just peeked a slight bit too wide. That could have become a problem, obviously.
This is a bold play. Like, the reason people avoid this ultimate so often now is the chunk of damage that you take. Like, just standing in there, you're going to end up down to just 1 HP, and they're going to try and challenge onto Angel. Now, the reason they're doing this is because I think they realize that if he's holding on to this ult, chances are the rest of the map is going to be stacked up. Like, you don't really need anybody else because this choke point is denied. Angel has a huge advantage in terms of vision if they go pushing through it. So anywhere they go, they're expecting to find multiple players. So if they can get rid of Angel early, that would be fantastic. The thing is, though, the amount of damage you take from that Viper's Pit, probably not worth the battle.
The thing is, on the minute we see right now, that pretty much the entirety of the A side has been cleared. Defo could give right now the information to his teammates, saying, I heard the Aldron over there. They're ruling that position out. They're gonna expect us, and that is gonna be at least a little alarm bot killed, but they're moving. They're charging. That is a swift one, and they stir towards that side of B. As for now, it seems like that ult might become very useful. Xiao, though, does not really put anyone down in that process. Shadow is still alive on site, though. And the B spot is not taken yet. 5 seconds, 8, but still it works. Revive is in, and here's the man advantage.
Forward from Zipan and Xiao, but Zipan's going to be the last man standing. Health regained, 4 bullets at the clip, but Defo is there to shut him down. Mid control utilized once again, and as said, like, I am really enjoying the way that Gambit, they're almost doing exactly what they said in the interview, because I think there'll be a lot of teams you'll watch, like, talk the talk, I guess you could say, Zesh. Like, they'll come out and be like, yeah, we're not going to show any respect. We're not going to, like, avoid certain players. We're going to do whatever we want on this map. And then they come into the game and they just do the exact opposite of whatever they said. But in this case, they have 2 players who push through the Viper's Pit to battle Angel. And in the meantime, the rest of them are trying to wrap around a pincer onto B, expecting that to be the weaker of the sites. And they make it work. They come out of top once again. Their attack side is looking impeccable.
Very much indeed. Though, I have to say, joining the Viper's Pit like that, a few centimeters that Angel could have charged, and I'm sure he would have seen it with the red outline. Either way, focuses once more on the B sides. That's the one Gambit pinpoints most of the time, and so far they pretty much scrutinize FPX and find every single error in their setup. As the plan could be just seconds away. Here comes at least one of the walls. Sky is joining the party. And they find frags left, right, and center. It's really impeccable. You mentioned it. It is so far by the book from Gambit. Surely sometimes they slip up like that little cage. But in the meantime, man advantage is there. And that's pretty much the round again.
I like this Viper screen, though. It's used to deny vision above. The problem is, I don't think it's gonna matter. What? They've actually managed to do a fair amount of damage here. A few players being dropped here, and their Deem is sick. He's found a rifle, and he's taken 3 with him. But again, it's gonna be left on to Xiao. The clock ticking down. He needs to get back onto the spike and just look at all the utility that's there waiting for him. Even the swing from Chronicle. Again, these rounds with the pistols always seem to be close. But Gambit is 7-1 up. Like, anybody who sat there and was doubting the CIS, well, firstly, FPX are more than half CIS, so I don't really know what you're doing. But they are just holding on to all of these positions. Sure, there's been a load of clutches. Sure, there's been a load of close rounds. But their initial takes of the site have just been superb. They've made it so difficult for FPX to hold on to any position on the map.
I mean, at that point in time, really, FPX is thrown in a world of trouble here, Tom. And the thing is, I have to say, I'm highly impressed by Gambit's approach with, you know, not falling into the traps they would have expected from a team like FPX, right? You know, when we talk, for example, they pretty much have a good awareness of what kind of map control so far seems to be controlled by FPX. I think especially the late B takes show us that kind of idea that they are pretty much ruling out the spot. You have to go quick, and this is something that I find very enjoyable. At the same time, it is right now the moment for FPX to come back, because you do not want to end up in something like a 10-2 half if you want to make it a clean 2-0.
Oh. There needs to be a response. Even if it's just to build into this map. Like, we know that FPX can definitely turn this down, but they haven't had anyone, I would say, rail them in recent times. There hasn't been a team that's been able to just dominate FPX, at least not in the manner that we're currently seeing. Again, early control taken, or picked up to, well, firstly build up their own, but deny a little bit of extra space. Still a lurk being left, so there's still not much map control that can actually be taken by the side of FPX. And, well, of course, Angel's just using all of his utility to make things awkward. Bear in mind, still, if you touch any of that utility, you're losing an instant 50 health, at least for the moment of the push. The problem here, though, and I almost question if this is the plan from FPX, I think they're just playing retake on this site because of how poorly trying to hold it has gone so far.
Very understandable. In the meantime, what a nasty shot! But no, it's falling down the right time, and BitBrain Angel strikes when needed. This is what you exactly need. It's time to stop the streak, but they're not done yet. Gambit is still here fighting, and they're killing players left, right, and center. And that could be that one changing piece, as though that turret gave it away. 10 seconds to get it down, and it might be just working well. It is FPX calling back. Second round on the board for them.
Oh, the timing of every single piece of utility for Gambit just disappearing at the exact moment that Angel takes the swing.
30 seconds
It is a problem. I feel like that's more of a mistake on their part of going for the plant while knowing that that screen is about to drop. Maybe just not communicating that across. And we have to look at the 2 rounds that FPX have actually managed to win. It's, well, 2 players being left completely with their pants down in the open, and a defuse that came in front of their very eyes. So it could be the breakback. If FPX end up on like 4 or 5 rounds, I'm not going to count them out of this map on the attack side, especially. And with Xiao now picking up an operator, a dynamic we don't normally see too much for the side of FPX. It looks like they're trying to switch things up quite drastically.
I feel very much like this is one of the... This could be the second round where FPX actually got an entry. It was about damn time, especially as Defo is finally eliminated. With that being said, send Redgar on the lurk right here. Toxin's getting low, so he can't pass from it. He can't pass through his own cloud. And indeed.
Wow, the take At least looking to come in onto the A side at the moment. Shadows leading the charge. All the utility actually switched to try and deny them this space. Rotation coming through, and Zipan more than prepared for Redgar's lurk. So leaving just 3 players remaining in 30 seconds to make their play. Chronicle being caught out, in fact, as Zipan to find the headshot. And this is almost looking flawless from FPX. An almost perfect read after the denial on the B site. They are stacked up ready on A, and their 3rd round meets the board.
It was about goddamn time, and this is where I gotta tell you, Tom, that the only thing that I would find somewhat worrying, and I'll just say somewhat because it comes down to the defense of Gambit, is that when we take a look at the maps play in 2021 by FPX, they mostly start on attack, which you have to put in consideration for the statistic, but at the same time, it's ridiculous. The attacking kind of KD of Shadow and Xiao is 2.43 and 2.40. So once we switch sides, this is getting very interesting.
Yeah, I think the fact I'm more surprised by you didn't highlight Zipan with his previous Reyna performance on the attack side. He's the man I fear, but I'm sure Shadow and Xiao could do just as deadly a job. Look at all of these screens. This map is a mess. There's so much going on. You have to try and predict which is yours. Walking back through it gives you the decay. The Viper's pit into play as well. I am surprised the players themselves aren't confused with everything that we currently see. But even still, more ultimates being thrown out. They're going to try and deny what will be a lockdown, using the Hunter's Fury to get rid of it. And actually, considering this is only pistols, Gambit, they actually have a man advantage.
They do. And this is making it so dangerous. They'd still have also Redgar on his ult if they'd like to, but as we see right here, put that one down. Sippin's trying to once more play the ring around the Rosie, and as he's taken the white way, is he the man to clutch this out? Possibly. Sees Redgar, starts off quite good, but Nats knows how to reply. And here's the 8 for Gambit. 50 it is. That is the thing, right? You could have pretty much put a cut right there, put Gambit's economy in shambles, but that ain't happening. FPX most likely have to live with something along the lines of a 9-3.
Yeah, they'll be able to buy back into this round at least. It's funny because financially in the last round you would say that Gambit were weak, but in terms of the ultimates they used, the combination of the Viper's Pit, the Blade Storm, and even denying any of the counter ults using the Hunter's Fury, they still spent quite a lot to get that round home, but I don't think anybody will doubt the value of it. They now come back in with the Operator, the Defo, used to take space. Now, they've put themselves a deeper trip, so it's not going to be possible for Zipan to get all the way through. But considering the spike's still down, he might be able to take a battle. The only thing will be, does he expect Redgar? Like, look at his position on the map. It just the rattiest of plays.
You're pretty much put it the right way. It is a ratty sort of play.
I have the spike.
But you see,
Oh.
they take the stance, fight in middle, that works for Sippin. Can escape, and valuable information. At least they saw right now that Shados is around. Here comes the revive, the wall works as well. And they're back to it. They're back as a 5-man roster in this round, but they now gotta make a change in pace, and it seems like the B side might be where they end up. They got the wall for specifically that, and hopefully this time, Tom, they don't run out of toxin.
They have to hope. The thing they might run out of, though, is time. Realistically, you want to try and avoid walking into all of the utility, but there's so much there. Angel's screens always seem to be in the right place, but this time they're over on A, so we can't do much to deny them. It might not matter, though. Demasik and Zipan already making things costly. The spike's going to be dropped on the deck, and with the remaining 2 players still completely in the wrong spot, Nats will manage to find himself a kill, but in terms of the round, it is all over. No chance for them to take this one home, and FPX at least make it 8-4. Definitely not going to be happy with their defensive side, but I do still think this is workable.
It very much is. And as you say, right, the crazy part for me right here is how much time they have wasted on the side of Gambit, or like how much FPX was delaying them, which now led to the toxin being so low that, you know, suddenly the screen's gone. And this is then becoming an issue, especially when you're low on time. It's about to see what the pistol is bringing us down, because this is the momentum-based kind of situation where FPX, once they start off good, could probably go on a little bit of a run, and, you know, they can now get themselves at 8-5, 8-6 is then somewhat inevitable.
Well, let's see if they're going to be able to get this one through. You can see the initial wall placed down by Red Guy. I said I like the way that he uses a lot of his utility, especially his snake bites. There's the classic boost position when you go over onto A to get yourself that extra bit of elevation. And a lot of rounds in the past, we've actually seen him pre-molly that. Just basically deny you having any of that control, making any take towards this side of the map fairly difficult. Now, he is going to go spotting, and I don't think he's really seen too much. Falling back to potentially wait for his teammates to rotate in. I'll also expect that if they are going to use that Sage Wall at any stage, it would just be to try and retake. And in fact, it looks like that's what they're setting up for completely.
And this spike should go down any second now. Sippin starting off good. Chronicles eliminated.
Spike planted.
And now it is time for that retake. Now it is time to see how is the utility looking on the side of Gambit. I mean, surely they're still there with Redgar, but man has pretty much nothing to bring to the table when it comes down to retake, which now leads us to a situation where the wall could play a pivotal role. But again, now the problem starts. Now you have to deny the retake, but Spike Diffuser has been killed, and this leads to FPX seemingly bringing it home. The fifth one could be theirs. The fifth one is going to be theirs, and this is what I meant. Now the momentum can start. If they will lean towards that victory, if they will gravitate to that 13 rounds or maybe the overtime we're going to see, this is where we're going to see. Because conversion, Tom, conversion is always the thing where some teams start to waffle from time to time.
I actually wonder if the plant spot they went for there is made so that if you wall, you have to leave a little bit of a gap. Because by the looks of it, there was enough space in that wall that they could still shoot through. And I think Angel had a lineup so that you could actually hit the poison straight into the corner. If that's intentional so that there's a tiny gap in the wall, that is a genius after plant. And most teams go for a much sort of deeper plant, enabling them those closer battles. If that's something that they've done on purpose, that's brilliant.
And it's Chronicle. He's making that flank work. Yes, he does. The double is secured. Shadow and Angel are out. Does he get the third? Is the question. No, puts the Owl in. And now you got to be quick withdrawing the pistol, but nope, can't convert it. A very good flank, but it's not done yet. Defo and Shados could definitely be the ones turning this one around. That was that one shot out of the Marshall that could have made the difference, but time just grab the spike, but costly it is for now.
The re-aggression from Shados. That duel was everything. He wins that. Maybe the round goes in their direction. And you can even still see the deliberation of FPX. They're going to go back. They almost expected that their opponent would now rotate into the A site. So they're going to look to try and take control. They've also left an alarm bot behind. So any flank is going to be denied almost instantly. However, Defo's made the read just about fast enough to get himself into position.
And you can't start it. That ain't going according to plan. That 8-6 is brought home. But at the same time, costly is, I think, the key word for this. Really, it got extremely expensive right now for the side of FPX. Angel and Co are in a spot where I am not so sure if, you know, one wrong step is gonna set them in the limbo of poverty and suddenly it's going to be the momentum shifting, because it's still a 2-round advantage coming in from Gambit.
Yeah, this is a pretty decent spot for Gambit to be in. They go into a round with basically just pistols. They manage to bring it down to a 2 versus 2 situation, and now they get to go back in with their buy. Now, they're not going to have everything that they desire. We won't see Defo's operator, which I think completely changes the dynamic of the way they play the defensive side. They become a lot more proactive when they're able to get him in play. He can section off portions of the map. They even start using a lot of the Sage Walls, which we talk about. Oh yeah, you can use it to deny this control, deny deny a retake, they go, you know, we'll use it as a boost and just place him in a horrible position which you're never going to be able to clear. So it seems like a lot of their plays rely on that latter stage of having the finances to be able to do that. However, in this round, in terms of weaponry, they still have a big advantage. Like, you're looking at a couple, like an SMG, you're looking at a pistol as well, and it's not like somebody has a Blade Storm sat in their back pocket which can bail them out. For FPX, this is a weakened purchase for them.
It absolutely is, and it could become a shipwreck if they don't steer it in the right direction. Setting themselves up for the A site right now. No big room has been gained from Gambit. A lot of some territory. Yeah, surely defo.
Wow, my eyes are down.
In front of the side of B, but that's pretty much it. And you mentioned the cam plays of Nats. That one is out for now. It's so silent. They're creeping around the side. Angel wants to start it off. Angel is starting it off. Nats has to escape, and they continue the fragging. That spike is landing on the A side, except they changed plans, and talking about it, Defo's finding Sippin, and that is the spike in the hands of Gambit now.
This is dangerous. He is not the man you want to hand deliver the spike to. He also knows that there's a couple of players at least around this angle because they're going for the heals. The thing is, though, you can just pick up the spike. They've just taken it and walked away. They don't even really have to battle him anymore, but with him forced into a corner, it might actually be worth the risk. They can get the push back in the other direction, and in the meantime, Dima6 making sure there's little to no rotations. It comes down to Shadows. He avoids the bot and manages to at least find himself one extra kill. The fact is, though, it's still a man advantage and an after plant.
Spike planted.
FPX seems so revitalized, but it's Shados who now needs to turn it around, and that's the way you can start it off. Another frag secure. The triple is already his, but the defuse needs to be the next step. Shao is absolutely having a problem with it, and he's beheading the opponent's Sage with just that ghost. Pinpoint accuracy like a laser beam. And so FPX get closer and closer and closer. The distance is minimized now to the tie.
It must be so nice just having someone like Xiao on your team. Like, you go into a 1v1 situation, your teammate has an inherent disadvantage, and he just pulls out a ghost one tap just like it's nothing, and then just goes, right guys, easy, move on to the next round. Back in the game now. It's like, it doesn't even look like he breaks a sweat. And I was going to say, like, Shadow getting a little bit more aggressive there was a risk I don't think was needed. I love that combo. Just trying to deny the ult orb, trying to deny that extra space coming out for the defenders. They have a combination. Ah, that is beautiful stuff.
Wild that Shadow gets out of that Sippin, though, whiffing big time. Very unusual that you see it from him, but that happens to the best, obviously. And it definitely tried to decrease that kind of monetary lack they had. Really put up the big numbers and get themselves a raise or something similar to that. Because, you, once again, to such a buy, you don't want to lose too many players. Losing 3 already means the majority is out and you have to rebuy for the majority. But here's a tendency of Gambit moving away and leaving the B site somewhat open.
Yeah, this is a risk round for them. We're looking in with a Bucky, which finally we are seeing the nerfed patch where the range has definitely gone down a little bit. And then the rest of the players are on pistols. So again, as you said, it's all about making things as costly as possible. Maybe the range, maybe the range hasn't gone. They're still managing to do damage with it. Defo's actually popped the Blade Storm. He's going to go running straight through, but goes down to 50 HP the second he touches that. Shadows is also the last man standing, trying to put a little bit of extra damage. And while Chronicle, he's so low, even a single bullet catching him while he's within this Viper's pit will be enough to kill him. He's trying to find out where Angel's actually hiding. And Angel, well, he's behind you, my friend.
He's starting it, but he's finishing it fast. There is the tie. And this is the thing, right, Tom? This is where the attacker side from FPX is that key component to the victory of that CIS European team, because it looked sinister. I mean, the forecast for FPX was dark clouds and more darker clouds coming their way. But as they got that minimum throughout the first half, this is now where they can finally push the pedal to the metal, full speed into it, and they are right now in the driver's seat. This is at least what it feels like.
We now get to see what I would call the fall by, though. This is where Defo gets his weapon of choice. This is where he starts to spice things up a little bit. And Diva6 is going to learn very quickly that you've got to be more than aware of these aggressive pushes from Defo. As said, his operator completely changed the dynamic of the way they play the defense. Now the Seekers are going to be expended. This makes things very awkward for an operator player. Oh, not! See you later, Shadow as well. And now the rest of the team have to make a response. Spike will be planted, and Zipan's at least brought one down with it.
Full power, that is back on the side of Gambit. The revive came in, and as Angel is killed just a few seconds after he got that spike down, it's Sippin and his boy Xiao having a bit of an issue for sure, but this is the Sippin show. We know what this man is capable of. Goes for the ult, continues the streak, and he definitely wants to fight more. Bring the number 9 on the table there for FPX. It ain't happening. Means Xiao could save it, but the defuse is in, and that is another frag, but not enough. And it's a classic on long range that closes the chapter.
Honestly, I thought for a second Zipan was going to get the 6K. Like, it's not something we see very often. I think the only one I can remember off the top of my head is from Nuki. But these shots from Defo, just ridiculously clean. But that's what it takes. It takes a res plus some pretty ridiculous opening picks for this round to even be, like, well, to still be close and in the favor of Gambit. They don't necessarily have that anymore. In fact, the operator's actually gone. We only got to witness it for one round. They can't afford to buy another.
That's the thing about once that nerf of the operator came out, it's not that easy to buy. It's really an issue. Even if find round after round, if you continuously get diminished, you want to be able to afford it. It ain't happening. And that could be somewhat of a blessing to FPX at that point, but it's still not right there.
I think this ult placement is one so that if you go over the top of it, your feet are actually going to dangle into the bottom of the Viper's pit, so Redguard will still be able to see you and kill you. It truly is disgusting. Just like we saw on the other side, though, Angel's going to look to battle through it. He'll try and make a prey. He has some counter utility and will actually be spotted out by the drone, so might have to fall back a little bit. He's the target for anybody on the FPX side at the moment because, well, let's be real, they want this Viper pick gone.
And here's the thing, you know, we saw Defo previously
30 seconds
go
left.
for a very nasty timing when the players went to rotate over the defender spawn. Now he could be the game changer for the side of Gambit. Does he start off that way? Yes, that is going to be the lockdown destroyed. First frag found. And this is a major component of the attack of FPX. Diminished and is ambled. But this now means it's time to get that spike down. It's gonna happen right here. But Hunter's Fury is gonna strike. Xiao still going on with the fragging. And the difference has been made by that push. But it's not enough, is it? It's not enough. No,
they ran out of time to get the plant down. So it's actually going to be the round going the way of Gambit anyway. They took a big risk pressuring back in, but it paid off. And it did seem like FPX had pretty much everything ready. Like they had players watching for any of the aggressive pushes. They even had the screen drop down to give them the extra timing. But just that Hunter's Fury going through to deny the plant was enough for them to win the round.
And the thing is, Tom, I'm not quite sure if he could have actually made it and died just a second afterwards. Because, you know, that still would have left FPX at least with the plant. And, you know, you saw Angel flanking, but obviously, you know way better afterwards. So, unlucky and unfortunate for FPX. But Gambit are showing their defensive strength right now after they have been kicked in the beginning of this half. We see one big strength back out, and that's Defo, and that's an operator.
It looks like FPX are going to opt to try and pick up the pace. They've done well to get themselves into after plants here. The peak from Defo was not far away, and he's got the Blade Storm as backup, but he's caught out by the aggressive nature of this FPX side. The quick take through the cages puts them in an afterplant position, which might be quite difficult to break down. You've still got Angel with utility available to them, but more importantly, they've left Shadow lurking up close to almost try and deny them that extra space.
Shadow is lurking on top. He has not been spotted yet. A crucial frag. But now it's time to get the diffuser. That's happening. Xiao is eliminating Chronicle, and as his counterpart falls, Redguard is the last one in the grave. FPX bounce back. And he bounced back immediately. That's the crucial thing. After somewhat of an unfortunate round previous, Here's Hunter's Fury for you.
I do wonder as well if the utilization of the cages to like almost just pressure onto the operator was the plan all along. Like you know that Defo wants to get up in your face. You know that he wants to have those battles at range. At best, he's going to hit one shot there and die. So just taking him out of the round completely, getting all that extra space from FPX was definitely a smart play. And now you look at the opposite side of the scale. Because of that operator, because of the heavy losses, because of the back and forth of these rounds, Gambit again don't have the cash to put anything into this round. And while the ultimates they have a res close to being online, and well, also the neural theft, which unless you get a kill is completely useless, I don't think they're going to be able to bring back this round unless it comes down to pure individual brilliance. And you can see from FPX, this is where they thrive. They're back to their default, patiently waiting for any aggression, making sure each portion of the map is covered, and making sure that Gambit, with all these pushes, with all these plays they want to make, have to walk into some sort of crossfire.
And what looked like a very one-sided affair in the beginning seems to be an absolutely and phenomenally splendid start of the EMEA Challenger playoffs. But we're far away from done. FPX is still gotta jump over a few hurdles to find victory on Icebox. And it's just 45 more seconds. You talked about the cam of Nats. Unfortunately, I think the Classic won't be able to help him with that. And the Tiger just pretty much diminished in front of him. Doesn't change the matter of fact that this spike is now finally coming to the ground. With 50 seconds left, they still have just somehow overpower them.
I think this is going to be a fairly easy cleanup now, and unless Defo is going to show us how the new Bucky rolls, but not to be the case. I will say that there are positions that Shadows is in where I'm like, no way he gets anything done. He's still getting like 2 kills. Like we spoke about that as a stat early on in the sort of pre-show that if you have a Sage that can just put up ridiculous numbers, it changes her from being like, okay, an agent maybe we run, to an agent that you almost have to run because you're just going to get res after res. Like, he had just a ghost in this round and still manages to get 2 kills. Sure, ultimately, FPX have equaled things up. They're back in a position where you almost favor them now to take the map. But if they can continue to just farm up these ults, it's going to become more and more difficult each time for FPX.
At the same time, Tom, there's not too much room for error left. This is, I think, a worrying aspect to some degree. Gambit now with the tripwire will definitely know what's up. Angel's gonna hear it. He's actually falling in it, but it's gonna be night fast enough. And this is a different approach they're taking. Finally, they run through 2, as though the quick scope from Defo is just nasty. This is humiliation on another level by the jet from Gambit, but still, it has to be the spike put down. Shadow is making it man equalized.
Your trail.
God's caught Demon Sick. That lurk is not going to be able to do too much. And in fact, this has turned into an almost 4 rotation. A change of play. Zipan through the screen is already going to catch off one, but Chronicle just domes the remaining players. A triple that could mean everything in terms of this map as he gives them back the lead. However, FPX are still going to have the ability to purchase. And even though they lost this round, I think the one thing I love watching about this FPX side is the way that I think Angel's like walls or screens, whatever you want to call them, are just so adaptable in so many scenarios. Like the initial plan there looked like it was to be, okay, we're going to have this as a play to almost go in one direction, then they split back into mid. Sure, they end up walking through their opponent's screen, which gives them quite a bit of damage on the other side. But it's like he almost decides midway through the round, like, okay, this is where I'm now going to place it, and this is how we're going to use it. And I think that's something a lot of teams are missing at the moment, just someone who is able to make these sort of calls.
That's the thing. This is where you have years and years of experience pay off. Slight deja vu I'm having. Seems like the round is on replay, but this time a little faster, and also in combination with the Killjoy. This is Demon Sick using his ults, and that should pretty much deny a lot of space. But look at the position of Defo. This man has such a high entry success for a very good reason. And as they put that spike down, Will it be the tie again? The back and forth and back and forth. It's something we have seen so often on this map. But it's Shadow who strikes with the first. Redgar's out, and this brings them in a good situation. But here is the neural theft. Now the information is so valuable. Demasik must have been spotted. That revive is not coming in. And this is a big problem right now for Gambit. As Defo and Nats can turn it around, make it only one. Cypher can try, but his eyes can't see it all. The triple from Demasik brings them back on track. But how close can those rounds get, Tom?
You can see what FPX were attempting as well in this round. It's a really cool idea. Well, what they were attempting in the last round. It is why they wanted to take over that kitchen control so badly, is because they have a specific after plant position which revolves around having kitchen, which again, like if you look at the playbook of a lot of teams, most of the time it is that same B site screen alongside the ice wall, and that's it. Like that's the after plant, that's the plan all along, whereas this was a specific plant that they had prepared for that exact position on the map, and I just don't think that Gambit were really prepared to try and deal with that. They really struggled, especially with the operator. We also got to see what I was speaking about earlier with the Sage Wall boost, which are utilized to try and set up Defo. Angel again. They expect it now, but, well, he's pretty much predicting everything that they're doing.
And here comes the Hunter's Fury. As Chronicle tries to hit something, it doesn't seem like that worked in any way right here. Extremely unfortunate for the side of Gambit, but Chronicle with what? Classic gets one. Is looking for more. That arrow was not working that good, but here's the damage. Defo with the small operator called the Marshal can't do too much. The impact's not there, and so they stroll towards the side of A, and also they stroll towards victory, but 11 to 12, which it most likely is going to be, means that we are about to head into a round that could very easily turn in overtime.
Although we'd love to see him try and go for this 5 HP and looking to try and bring a rifle into the next round, give his team something to play with. Done well to avoid Demasik. The problem is he can't actually reload the gun, so it would have to be a bullet per player or just an attempt to try and hide. But unfortunately, he doesn't quite get the game correct. The hunt is on from Demasik, and now we see 12 on the board for FPX. Bear in mind, what they were 8-3 down, I want to say, in the early stages of this one. Again, showing the strength of the attack of this map in particular. But is there a response? Because in this round, Zesh, they've got everything on Gambit. They've got that operator back in play. They've got the rifles. They've even got a res, which on the other side, there are no ultimates currently available. Xiao very close, and I do wonder if they're going to go for that same A side setup we've seen previously, because I just feel like Hunter's Fury on the A side of the map is such a powerful ult.
It's time to open the secret hidden chapter in your strat book right here, Gambit. To make a change, get yourself that ticket for overtime. Surely we got 2 more, and that would mean 2 more chances for Gambit, but always on the brink of losing. And it's definitely not a position you want to be in. And as the A side is going to be the main objective right now, they're going to be swift and fast. Sippin is entering, and he's trying to take a lot of room right now. His eye, there's not much more coming out of the side of Gambit. He definitely forces them away. And as that one goes down, Shadow is not taking too much from the dart. This spike is now hitting it.
Demasik swing is going to work out for him. The fallback from the remaining players, but again, they leave Shadow behind. It's expected, but the shot's a miss! No! And he's going to be able to get away with it. Shadows very quick to find the trade. The push forward from Angel. He knows he needs to get up in the face of his opponents. And now Xiao with the shock dart leaves it on to Defo. One man versus the world, and there's that Hunter's Fury, the single kill that Xiao needed to bring that ult online. There is no chance for Defo in this case, just 11 HP, a single tag from anything will close the map, and FPX do it once again.